Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. We are back with the Ranger, with the Hunter subclass here. We're talking about the RP value, the combat value, and class synergy.
I don't know how many times as a World of Warcraft player I have describing a Ranger and called it a Hunter and said there's a Hunter subclass called a Ranger and got them backwards.
It really gets you sometimes when you do this RPG. But yeah, let's start off.
Let's get right into it, guys. All right, level 3, you start a bevy of things for this Hunter subclass is different because at every level threshold you have a choice, which a lot of subclasses you just get this ability and that's it.
If you're indecisive, this is not the subclass for you.
No, correct. You got to make decisions and be happy with it because that's what you're going to do. Hunter's Prey, level 3, you get a choice of Colossus Slayer, Giant Killer, or Horde Breaker. We'll kind of do these in the order that I like personally. Horde Breaker, if you make an attack, shoot somebody with an attack, if they have somebody standing next to them, you get a free extra attack against them. Cool, but very niche use. Two guys going to be standing next to each other for that to work.
Yeah.
Giant Killer, if somebody tries to hit you with an attack, they miss or hit, you can then use your reaction to immediately try to attack them back. So instead of having to wait for an opportunity attack to hit them, you can just use your reaction to shoot them or hit them with a sword, whatever you've got available. Then personal favorite of the 3, Colossus Slayer. Whenever you hit a target with a weapon attack, once per turn, you can do an extra 1d8 damage. So with a longbow, you shoot them, it's 1d8, you get a free extra d8 as long as they're below their hit point maximum.
Yep.
So shoot them once, and every other turn they're alive, you get to do 1 extra d8. So I think it's the best option of the 3, but you do have some option and flexibility there.
Yep. And then at level 7, we have defensive tactics. You have, again, 3 options. The first is Escape the Horde. Opportunity attacks against you are made with disadvantage. Helps you stay away from people because as a ranger, most likely you're going to be staying at range.
Yes.
Because you're a ranger danger. Yes. Keep your range out there. Stay away from people. You can do, dual wielding, dueling, or 2-weapon fighting. I wouldn't suggest that. If you want to do that, go for it. That's totally your thing. But most people play Ranger are going to play legless.
Correct.
So, your second option is multi-attack defense. When a creature hits you with an attack, any successive attacks from that same creature, you gain +4 bonus to your AC for the rest of the turn. Now, if you're in melee range, again, you're probably not in a good spot. So, as a ranger, I say rogue. They have some rogue-like abilities.
They do. We'll get to those.
But ranger, you want to keep at a distance, so not a huge fan of that. Steel will, you have advantage on saving throws against being frightened. Very situational. Very situational. My choice here would probably be Escape the Horde. Helps you stay away from people and run away if you get in a bad situation and not be as scared of running away.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's that.
Absolutely. At level 11, you get multi-attack. Only 2 options. It's the only one of these. There's 2 choices. All the rest of them do have 3. It's Volley and Whirlwind Attack. Whirlwind Attack, use your action to make a melee attack against any number of creatures within 5 feet of you. Make a separate attack roll for each. So if you're swarmed, we talked about before, unless you're intentionally playing melee ranger, if you're trying to be Legolas, shoot back there shooting people, if you're in a bad place, if you have to use this ability, you're trying to just last ditch, last stand, cut as many down as you can before they bring you down at this point. So I would probably lean toward the other option being Volley, which I think is really, really cool ability. So with Volley, you choose a point. I'm drawing a picture you guys probably can't even see based on the angle we're at. But you choose a point, and any target within 10 feet of that point, you can make an attack against that turn. So once being a ranger, you do get extra attack. So essentially, you have the choice between doing extra attack and taking 2 attacks, or using your action to use Volley. So it gives you the flexibility. So if there's more than 2 targets within a 10-foot radius, this Volley becomes your better option. Unless you're really trying to shoot one target to try to bring them down because they're hurt or whatever. But it gives you some options for your attack, point being. So you can shoot, if you got 3 guys in a little triangle that are only just 10 feet away from a given point, you can take a shot at all 3 of them, just boom, 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 quick succession, because they're clustered together. So of the 2 options, I think Volley's the better option.
Yeah. And then at level 15, we have Superior Hunter's Defense. You get 3 choices, as usual. You get Evasion, if you're familiar with Rogue, which we'll be getting to as the next class after Ranger. You get, any time there's a dexterity saving throw that you would roll to take half damage, you instead take no damage if you succeed, and if you fail, you only take half. So it just improves your resistance to area of effect spells, basically. Then you have Stand Against the Tide. Whenever a hostile creature misses you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to force that creature to repeat the same attack against another creature of your choice. I'm guessing they have to be within a range as well. So how often is that a case where two creatures are standing next to each other attacking you? And it does say melee, so again, melee range, you're probably going to be in a rough spot there, so not super useful. And then Uncanny Dodge, again, rogue ability that they get really early.
Yes.
When an attacker that you see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to half the damage, okay? So between the two, Uncanny Dodge and Evasion, I think, are the better options, again, because we've talked this before. Melee range, you're in trouble. Uncanny Dodge, you're just taking half damage from single targets versus taking half to no damage based on area of effect spells with Evasion. So with that, that's going to be all of the abilities. That's the capstone ability right there.
Yeah,
your choice between two rogue abilities that
they
get
get
level
level
5 and 7, and then a random ability that you probably, unless you're playing a melee ranger, which is a rare. People do it, but it's not as common.
Right.
That's your capstone ability. So a choice between two abilities that rogue gets by level 7.
Yeah.
So, okay. So we're going to move on to the rating portion. We have the RP value first. If you may have noticed, as we went through this entire list, every single option of every single thing, barring maybe an argument for Steel Will, which is a choice for advantage on saving throws against being frightened.
Which, if you take, you're not doing this right.
You're probably not. I mean, even being frightened out of combat is still very rare.
Yes.
It is very rare. So there are no RP, literally zero
that's
RP options. Everything is combat based. So we gave a solo Uno one
even a little busted pinky.
Little pinky one.
That's it.
For RP value, because it's just not a whole lot of RP value going on here.
Nothing there. On the combat side, though, solid score for sure. Not just because there are some really cool abilities: Colossus, Slayer, Escape the Horde, Volley, instead Evasion / Uncanny Dodge. All the ones we thought were the best options are all really good options. But besides that, you do have choices at each level, which I think makes a huge difference. And most every other classes, when they level up for their combat abilities, like, you get this ability at this level. You get this ability. Well, at least here, even if you don't like some of them, there are options. So the versatility, along with some really cool abilities that let you further do what you do better, primarily is, a little pew-pew. We gave it a 4 flumps out of a possible 5. It's a very solid combat subclass. Really, the only drawback, probably why I didn't get a better score, is the fact that, like we talked about, the fact is capstone abilities is what rogues get at level 5 and level 7. They're good abilities to pick between. Yeah. But if you got both of them at level 15, would be better.
Yeah. True. And then lastly, we have class synergy. There's not, let's just say this. Every ability that you get your choices. So regardless of how you pick it, if you take archery or dueling or weapon fighting, pretty much everything is going to synergize with that weapon fighting style. Yep. So in that sense, pretty much everything offensive, which your two abilities, work with that. And then the other thing is with your defensive abilities, with your Escape the Horde, Multi-Attack Defense options, and then your Evasion, Uncanny Dodge, they kind of go with the whole feeling of like that, they get your kind of like stealthy abilities that they get where they can take the hide in plain sight and stuff like that, where you can kind of have some stealthiness, like sneakiness to them. Oh. It kind of goes with that kind of feel of the Ranger class. Yeah. So
getting out of dodge when you get overwhelmed, and not getting beaten, smashed to death if you do take multi-attack defense, and surviving when you do get overwhelmed, so you can get back out there and start murdering things from way the far away, like you're really good at doing.
Yeah. So we went with a 4 out of 5, just because there's a lot of things that really improve on or thematically makes sense with the original base class of the Ranger. Yeah. So with that, guys, that's our ideas and opinions of the Hunter Ranger.
Yeah, got it right. Look at you.
Almost missed it there. But if you guys have any experiences with this class or have any other things you want to hear us talk about, let us know in the comments down below. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.